Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. So we wanted to share a little bit with you about, again, White Buffalo Calf Woman, the prophecy of the White Buffalo, and share it from the standpoint of some of the indigenous leaders of today themselves. This is from Buffalo Field Campaign, and here this is at Yellowstone, and it's in celebration of a calf naming ceremony. And with the times that we are in, yes, there have been multiple white calves born, and the truth again that we're trying to get across is the understanding that in these dark times that we're going through, they're leading to something good. They are leading to a time where we go back to the old ways, so to speak, and understanding how to truly view the world from a different perspective, as we've been under the sway and power of what is an invading foreign army, truly, that has taken over Earth in its reality. You know, that alien invasion scenario actually happened thousands and thousands of years ago. And we've been under the power of these dark controllers that control through division and separation. And we're heading into a time where, as this says, in truth, in time to come, we will know that we're all related. And when you think of association, what they do is they put out there, they know things are going to be key, and they know certain phrases, certain symbology, and knowing that there's going to be these key triggers to bring about a change in our collective paradigm, they try to preemptively go out there and create conflict and division around certain terms, certain symbols, certain phrases that would be used in the times to come to show unity. So instead, they create division first around those symbols. Like, why did they name the terrorist organization ISIS? They are literally trying to slander a being who was worshipped as a goddess, but in reality was an extraterrestrial with advanced knowledge that was teaching humans how to live in harmony with the world around them. And in fact, that they are part of this world. They are a single cell in something bigger. When we talk about White Buffalo Calf Woman, she's the same as Isis. She is also an extraterrestrial that came here in order to teach us, again, how to live in harmony. Don't forget that it's so important that we understand we're all part of something much, much bigger. Also, that we're heading into dark times, so be aware of that. And don't worry, the dark times will at some point release their grip and will come back to the teachings that she and others like her and Isis and many others have given us throughout the different Yugas. Primarily, again, Golden Age teachings and Silver Age teachings. All we've grown up with is the Kali Yuga teachings, the Dark Age teachings. So as you see, there's been numerous calves being born that fulfill the prophecy of the beginning of the new and the end of the old. And so, this is still something to recognize. Again, many of us started to come online around the late 1980s and early 1990s. It's us entering a new energetic sphere. You might have heard the term photon belt and harmonic convergence. It was an awakening, and that awakening is continuing, and now it is also accelerating.
Vibration is such an important thing, I think, because you cannot see vibration. People just, they don't think of it. I mean, it's pretty natural, out of sight, out of mind. But we're moving into a time now where we're understanding that there's so much more than what we see in the 3D, and that everything has a vibration, and these vibrations change in different times. And as the vibration changes, we change, our souls change, our atmosphere changes. What happens in our world changes. How we perceive things change. So that makes vibration is that that thing that we cannot see. That makes it probably the most important thing, because it's what is creating changes. Now, I did channel White Buffalo Calf Woman a little while ago, and one of the things that came up I thought was really fascinating is as we get closer to the silver golden age, we're going to have more of these calves be born. And I haven't seen that information anywhere else, but I really thought that was the celebratory. That's why we should celebrate every time one is born. It brings us a little bit closer to a better time, a better age. Now we're kind of in a mud trough right now, going through a lot of stuff, and it's very, very difficult to watch the mainstream news because so many more people understand really what they're saying. They understand the agenda, and it's not a good one. And it seems like no matter how much you jump up and down and scream and yell and point your finger, even if people are on TV screaming and yelling and pointing their finger and saying, hey, that's not right, we know what you're doing, it doesn't matter. It's just rolling forward like a big old tank. If you see a tank on the TV and it's just rolling forward with its squeaky wheels and its gigantism, and it seems like there's nothing that can be done to stop it. That's where we have to get a hold of ourselves and say, there's no such thing. We have power. We have a lot more power than that machine that's rolling forward. That machine is going to go off the edge of a cliff, and it cannot help it. That is something that cannot be stopped. It's a matter of us hanging on while we wait for that machine to go over the cliff and lift each other up. Be very mindful about what we're doing, the actions we create out in the world. Are you going out there, or have you made someone's life a little bit better? Did you make somebody smile today? Those little things add up more than you would believe. They are such a pebble in the pond. They are creating the ripples that we need to create a new time. So never underestimate your acts of kindness. They add up. And this is a force that cannot be reckoned with. We are the real machine. We evolve into the light. And you can take a single candle and you can walk into a very dark room. That candle is going to light up most of that room. So it just shows how powerful the light can be. So if you have your candle and you light another candle and you make someone smile, you've done a lot.
Absolutely. So, I wanted to share some of this with you. And I don't know if this is going to give us a copyright issue or not, but I feel it's really important to share this from some of their words. I was looking to see if there's a way I could capture the sound better so it won't echo, but I'll give you the links as always so you could go listen back to it. I think there's a couple key things to listen to and to absorb from it, but feel these people's energy too. Feel their energy and then compare it to the politicians that you listen to. Recognize too, that this is a celebration of life. This is not the celebration of life being born so that it could be put to death. Like when you talk about the red heifers being born so they could become perfect sacrifices, blood sacrifices. This shows you the difference between the Abrahamic traditions and the indigenous people and their understanding of life. Again, they always would pray over anything that they took, whether they're hunting a deer or what have you. They would actually pray for the soul of that animal, that being, because they understood it as their brother. It's understanding the connectedness of life on the bigger scale. that again, we don't see this coming from the control system's parameters. So I'll give you this little speech.
The Hithenon, the one who brings the thunder, is the same as the history as the Hinanae, the people, right? We once numbered the 100 million range as the First Nation people, hundreds of millions, and today we are less than 2-3% of the American population. Every land as far as you could see that stretched from coast to coast, peninsula to peninsula, north to south, border to border, there were the Hithena, there were the Hiwaku, there was the Hake, the Wakathi, the grizzly bears, the black bears, the brown bears, the wolves, the bison, the antelope, the deer, millions of wildlife that roam these continents, right? And today, some of them are on the Endangered Species Act list. And so I urge each and every one of you to look at the condition of the places that you are living. Look at the interactions that we have as human beings, because there's something we're missing there. There's something we're missing there. And it's just as simple as sitting underneath the tree listening to the birds, watching the bees get the honey, and paying attention to these wild animals as they're in their natural habitat, right? So, my message for you all today, and the best way that I can give it, is to be good relatives. Learn who you are, learn where you come from, learn your family story, because each and every one of you come from somewhere. There was a reason why your ancestors left the land they lived in to come here in this great place that we call home. Then and only then will we truly be living in the forms of being good relatives. So, connect with nature, connect with your mother, connect with your father, connect with your brothers and your sisters, and your sons and daughters and your grandsons and granddaughters. Honor the spirit, and with that, I'd like to thank the Buffalo Field campaign, all my relatives.
You know, again, connect with nature, and as he was saying, listen to the birds, listen and watch the bees. How often do we do that in this world? Maybe most of you guys do. Yeah, we do. And it's something that a lot of people just don't even consider. And in fact, you know, there are some that are so brainwashed and indoctrinated that they view the whole concept of Mother Earth as something that's a diabolical, satanic plan. This shows you how warped and twisted this system is, as it turns everything upside down and inside out.
Well, you know, if you look at the gentleman that's standing up there on the podium, he's not full of ego. I mean, he's not dressed to the nines. He's not worried about his face or his hair or his shirt or his pants. He understands the true meaning of life, and he understands how to deliver a message. I think the indigenous people really get it when it comes to blending with the earth. When we look at our four-legged angels that we have, they don't wear a mask. They don't dress up in clothes that make no sense. I mean, we really are kind of a misfit in the planet, in the sense where it's more our job to help blend in and not be so fake, you know, not be so plastered and stuff that makes us look different. We have not done a very good job in just really blending. And, you know, I definitely have plenty of work to do. I have to do my own grounding. I do my own mantras. I do my own meditation. I do my own vibrational work to help me blend with the earth. But those who are able to blend with the earth and don't wear the mask of society, they're different. They are different.
There's a genuineness.
There's a genuineness, and there's a heart-centeredness, and you don't feel the deceit coming from them. You don't feel the deceit. And that's medicine right there. When you are close to people who are real, and people who can touch you from one heart center to the other, that's medicine. And I encourage you guys to watch this, because they do talk about, the heart medicine and how many come together and it makes big medicine. And that's what we try to do on this channel, us and bringing you guys together, bringing our hearts together to make a wave of consciousness that's going to make things just a little bit better, that's going to be a little bit easier on Mother Earth, that's going to help us blend a little bit more with her heart chakra and her genuineness, and help us just be better people. I mean, the only thing we can really do is try to be better than we were yesterday. Life isn't so easy, but it is. So it's just something we can think about.
And we listen to and feel the energy coming off of, this is Chief Arval Looking Horse, 19th generation keeper here from the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe. Feel his energy.
This white buffalo calf with black nose, black eyes, black hooves is born at a place called Matho Tibula by all the surrounding tribes. And today we know it as Devil's Tower. And I hope that we can change it back to Matho Tibula, because we're in a very spiritual, powerful time right now. He told me the story of the white buffalo calf woman, the beautiful woman that came. And she told the scouts that, prepare a place for me. So the next day, she did come bring the secret bundle. She laid down, she opened it, there's a red stone in there, and a wooden stem. And this is how I'm going to show you how to pray to the grandfathers, the Great Spirit, the Creator, Ujimaka. Ujimaka is a living spirit. Mother Earth is a living spirit. Well, before she left, she said, I gave you 7 spiritual wobre, spiritual laws. In time, you shall know more. So the people called her the Sami, the white buffalo calf woman. And the ceremonies, she told the people, next time I shall return and stand upon the earth as a white buffalo calf with black nose, black eyes, black hooves, that everything is going to be so sickly. And Mother Earth, Ujimaka, is going to be sick and has a fever. And that's happening right now as we speak. This is a prophecy that has been fulfilled. We're going to see the changes that affect us, the mind, body, spirit. We're going to see a lot of sicknesses and viruses. No more honorable wars. We're going to see false leaders, false prophets. We are at the crossroads. Or we can unite spiritually, all nations, all faiths, one prayer. We can create an energy shift. Here at Yellowstone, the most purest place, the wildest buffalo, and there stood a buffalo calf with black nose, black eyes, black hooves. This is way above us. I'm very happy, but I am very sad that this is happening in our time right now. But at this time, we are here to be with each and every one of you, because this affects the whole world. What is happening right here in Yellowstone It's like when you drop a stone in the water and it ripples out. But we're asking people to pray with us, create an energy shift all over the world. That can happen. So the prophecy of the white buffalo calf woman, that we are at the crossroads, it's up to each and every one of you to make it happen. For the future of our children, we must come together and bring that good energy back. We warn that someday you will not be able to control what you have created. And that day is here. We're so honored today that to give a beautiful name to this buffalo.
When you see and feel the energy, it's so different than when we see and feel the energy of the politicians that we have today. It couldn't be any more different in reality.
Well, I think the difference is you know, they don't look to destroy each other. They look out for each other. So that's really, really huge. Whereas these people here, they're looking just to step on the next person so they can get up a little bit higher. And that's all they do. I mean, they do it with a smile on their face, and they do it with deceit, and they do it and they don't have a problem with it. So you can see the two natures. One looks to destroy the other with a smile on their face, and the other looks out for their brethren. They look out for the earth. You know, Mother Earth gives us so much, and she gives it for free. The only thing she asks is for us to protect her. And I know everyone has their limitations, but we all still have we have a part to play, and we have something that we can do. And when we are able to even just admire what Mother Nature has to offer, it give your gaze of love, give your gaze of loyalty. When you're looking out at the ocean, or you're looking out at a mountain, or you're looking at the trees, that love and appreciation that you send out there is felt. It is felt, and it is reciprocated. So don't think you don't have anything to offer. You do. It's all inside of you. We've never been taught how to use it. And if we've been taught anything, it's been, well, these things are just too simple and they don't matter. You know, what's it gonna help some flower if I just stare at it and think it's pretty? Well, try it and see how much sweeter your life is that day. It really matters. Mother Earth reciprocates everything that you put out there. It's just, it's a gift for all of us.
Now feel the energy here. You know, feel the pomp and circumstance, the bluster, the ego. This energy couldn't be any more different, and it doesn't matter if it's, you know, the Democratic side or the Republican side. It's all the same system. Its energy could not be any more different. Feel into this energy. It's again, when was America the greatest? Well, it was before the invasion of the system. That's when it was the greatest. It was before we had all this power structure in place. It was before it was toxic and poisoned by the system that's in control.
You know, by people up here who are getting their hoorahs and they're getting their attaboys. You know, it is because of this system that we use things that poison this planet. At one point, you could drink out of every stream. You could grow in any land, and now you have to do soil testing before you can grow anything. If you want to start a garden, you better do your soil testing. And life shouldn't be that way. It should not be that. It wasn't meant to be that way. And I think it's up to each and every one of us to do what we can, little by little, piece by piece, and bring back a sense of purity. I mean, it's our mother. It's what we live off of. That's what makes us breathe. Inhale in and exhale out. The water that we drink, we need this. And these people that are in power, everybody's so proud of them, but since they've been in power, all they've done is poison everything. That's all they've done. And then have you looked into what this guy is bought into? I mean, sure, I know there's some reasons that people want him up there, but the reasons that kind of are pushed aside and hush hush, they're real dirty. I mean, they are not good. The energy I got off this guy just looking at him was horrid. It was horrid. Now, could they have done better? They could put another puppet on the throne, sure. I don't think it would be better. It would just be someone who's going to play out the same storyline. But these people, they're not heroes. I don't see them as heroes.
No, the real heroes in the world right now are the ones that understand this is an illusion of a system. The real heroes have been wiped out. Their bodies are in graves all around this country, and their way of life was as extinguished as they could extinguish. And again, I think that's something that Cindy and I have seen, for ourselves in our own family and our own family history. As like on my father's side, his grandmother was born in an Indian reservation, again, and was brought there because of the whole Trail of Tears fiasco. And this extermination that the system does, it just rolls through one indigenous culture after another. And then it gives us their traditions and culture to be assimilated into. So there is no salvation in the system. The only salvation is the end of the system.
And he said something really interesting. He said, get to know your mother, get to know your father, get to know where you are from. And unfortunately, so many of us we have no way to really get to know, because the family ancestry was scattered and it was traumatized and it was just disjointed to such a high degree. They're afraid to speak about where they're from because their very existence is what was attacked. I mean, they took the children, they took away the belief systems, they made it illegal for these indigenous people to practice their spiritual culture. And then they made it dirty, and then they put it on TV, and then they made the cowboys into the good guys and the Indians are the bad guys, and they're the torturous, bad people. I don't know, we live in a really screwed up world, and it's up to us to do our part, no matter how little it is. We got to do our part to try to straighten it while we're here.
Yeah, you're not going to get the wisdom that we need coming from those with the inflated egos. The ones that, find satisfaction in the highest degree with being, basically up on that limelight and that stage. The ones that are all about elevating of themselves above the others. This is not anything new. There is nothing new there. This is the system doing what it does. This is, again, that you could look at it as elitist. You could look at it in so many different terms, whether we're talking about the aristocracy, certain bloodlines. It's just the system doing what it does. And that's, again, division and control and division, control through division, and indoctrination and brainwashing. And, again, most of the world has been brainwashed. The vast majority is brainwashed, and perhaps even the majority will never be able to let go of in this lifetime that brainwashing. And this is also why it's going to take more time, unfortunately, than we would like. The truth is that we are one. The truth is that the earth is very, very sick, and the system has done that. So, there's no real greatness in anything that this system has created other than inflame the egos of those willing to destroy everything in their path for their own glory.
they're so easily bought out. They're so easily purchased, and they're so easily, here's your job, here's your path of destruction. All you have to do is walk it, and we'll pave the way with money and glory and ego for you and your family and anyone else who wants to help you. And that's all it takes to destroy our world for some people. And, when we're looking at a system like that, we have to look at it and be equally as determined to help in any way that we can. And have to reiterate over and over again, no act is too small. Just the appreciation of earth opens your heart chakra, and that is the most powerful energy on the planet. That energy of love, that overcomes everything. And all you need to do is look and enjoy something. That's not hard to do. I think people just think it's too little. But it's not. Energy and vibration is everything. We can still turn this around. We are destined to turn this around. And we just need to do our part. When
you think about it, the whole concept of glory and how embedded it is in the system, and even in prayers, is again, it's praise or elevation or conferring some sort of what we might perceive as a greatness upon a person, an individual, a structure, a group. Again, it's something that is just so embedded in our consciousness that people think that there's a natural inclination to strive for glory. Or, give glory to the Creator. The Creator is so beyond, the real Creator is so beyond even the concept of glory. There's nothing, is there love in glory? Think about it. I mean, really think. So many people don't ever think about the words they say. They just act like parrots. And they just, monkey see, monkey do, without letting it sink in and realizing, what am I even saying here in these different prayers? What am I even giving power to? When you look at, the one we were talking about, you could see, Cindy could see, this is a very, very controlled individual. And in fact, as controlled as any others walking on this planet right now, that you may perceive of as some of the darker entities on the planet. Because yes, there are those of that scaly variety on that lower fourth density that walk very closely behind the political leadership of this planet, watching to make sure they do not jump out of line. And he is no different than any of them. And, some people think that he might amount to nothing here. But if he does, or if he doesn't, again, the real power will just jump around the next individual to make sure that they're still spousing the draconian party line.
Well, you can see the differences in true leadership. You have one that's up there basically for the money and to do what he's told, and then you have the others at the Yellowstone White Buffalo Calf naming ceremony. You can tell that they're not up there for the money. They're not doing it for the money. They're not doing it for the glory. They're doing it because that's where their heart is. That's where they are grounded. That they know who they are, so they don't need the egoic bells and whistles, And I'm not saying that having money is a bad thing in any way, shape, or form. But when it's used to control and manipulate and poison the planet, that is where the problems lie. There's people out there who have a little bit of money and they do wonderful things with it, and it helps. It actually helps those that are trying to help others. And I think that's where we should be pointing our hearts and our minds, is if we have to be part of this system, everything that we do that's part of this system needs to benefit the way things were, not continue to feed, this election that we have coming up. How much of it is really going to matter if someone goes out and votes anyway? What is it really going to matter? Your time, your effort, your time is valuable. That's your life on this planet. And people go out and they spend their time in voting for the very system that's destroying. We need to make it irrelevant. We need to take the bull by the horns, so to speak, and steer the system the way we want to, because we do have power. But again, it's up to us, and so many people are not ready to wake up, and that's where we kind of go around in circles where it gets frustrating, but we're not at a point where we're about to give up.
No, again, when you look to the Trail of Tears, these people were kicked off their lands. They were here for generations. They had a diaspora. They were sent off, and they were forcibly removed. And when you look at the actual Trail of Tears, you could see all these different trails. So many of them died without ever getting to the final destination. This is a horrible genocide that was conducted. Removing people from Florida, from Georgia, from Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, all these different areas, consolidating them in what was called Indian territory, all into Oklahoma, and again up in Dakotas, and in other areas we have reservations these days, just basically, again, removing a whole way of life and destroying their history and their culture, and then forcing them to adopt our ways, because again, it's being absorbed into the Borg, and again, this system that came out of Europe. Well, the same thing happened to the more indigenous tribes of Europe. It just simply is going back again thousands of years ago to the takeover of this world by the system that's in place, and the removal of those that were more, let's say, native to this planet, and replacing them with those that would be more usable and of the same tendencies as the invaders. This is really what we have. But with the white buffalo calves being born, what that is a symbol of is that, yes, the system is going to crack and break, and the apocalypse really is the unveiling. And no, the Bible doesn't hold the only true prophecies. In fact, again, the Bible is the main control, the main unit of control. And what we have is a pendulum swinging from left to right. So in some states now, as they've maybe done laws to allow people to have raw milk again, where fentanyl is available but not raw milk. At the same time, now they're mandating that the 10 Commandments have to be in every school classroom. It's still the system. That's still the system. The 10 Commandments too. You look to the Code of Hammurabi, which comes before it. Everything you see in the Bible is taken from older traditions. It's just a Reader's Digest rehashing of everything that's come before. And yet, the Warriors of the Rainbow is a Native American prophecy which says it's going to be out of every creed, religion, class, tribe, that there's going to be those that awaken and that are going to go back to the ways of living in harmony with nature instead of subduing, conquering, and ultimately destroying it like they did to Mars, because this system is the system that destroyed Mars and made it the way it is. And it's also the same system that did the same thing to Nibiru. But Earth is rising up, and they know they only have so much time that they're going to be allowed to still carry on. So we are watching, thankfully, the death knells of the system. We don't put out hope in any of those that are in the system, because they are the system. That's the bottom line. And the system is the only problem on the planet. Everything else, once the system is out of the way, no longer controlling the planet, then yes, we could have real change. And we could watch things blossom overnight if you had the entire geopolitical structure of this planet removed. The changes that could happen in one lifetime would just blow everybody's minds.
It's very much a Cancer, but it's painted to be something that's pretty and desirable, and it's like, oh, here, if you do this, you're going to get that. So they rely on people's belief systems, and they rely on the gullibility of the country, and they rely on those who are so desperate that they'll just jump at just about anything to make their lives better. You know, people are poor out there. People are broke. People are having a hard time. They're going through really tough stuff. And at one point, there were tribes and people, like I said, they looked out for each other. They didn't look to step on one another. So it's like a shifting in perception is what we really, really need to focus on. And, you know, it starts with thoughts. Thoughts are things. So start thinking of that world that you want and get that energy wave out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, the whole concept, these people didn't view that they owned any land.
Right.
They didn't view it be possible to own any land. When you look to the Hawaiian legends of when we were invaded, that was one of the first things that they did, is that they created the whole concept of private ownership of the land. The people that were living here naturally had no concept that you would ever even think that I own this. No, we're just visiting. We're just traveling through. This is a temporary existence. We give thanks to the mother that sustains us, and we share. And we're not hoarding supplies, greedy beings. This is not how this world operated before the system came in. And people will try to make it out, well, they warred in between each other. The tribes did, sure. Yes, you will always have disagreements and all, but all the history we have is revised. It's revisionist history, and it's also of a relatively short nature. So, when you look back to Göbekli Tepe, when you look back to the culture that lived in the Harappan area, again, we don't really know the type of laws that were in place at that point in time. We do know when we look farther back, we see there was no political leadership. That's one of the things that looks very curious when we look at Harappa. And, we see that it doesn't seem like they stored arms. It doesn't seem like they were worried about invasions. No, because for the most part, everybody got along really well, and they worked out their differences. It wasn't until the invasion of, what really was the Martian system, god of war, that took over the planet that it was instituted, that whole idea of ownership, which again leads to control by the elites over us. So again, everything, all these concepts and labels, it's all the system. The system that is thankfully going to come to an end. It still may take some time. So we do have to have our patience, but at the same time, we must always use everything at our disposal to show others what the system truly is.
Open that heart chakra.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.